it's possible to go through lots of different details talking about changes that I've noticed, but maybe the most striking example that I can think of myself is something that happened last year in a classroom. I teach quite regularly a course called Technologies of Representation, and in this course there is a segment on mobile technology, and there was a particular set of days where we were concentrating on mobile phones. And I asked the students in the class to take out their phones one afternoon and simply tell me something about the phone. How would they describe their relationship to their phone? And as we started going around the room, a young woman in the back of the room started crying. And after a few minutes, she started sobbing. And of course, people were very concerned, and they expressed this in a number of different ways. And there were a few people sitting around her that asked if they could help her in any way. And she said, no, it's okay. I'm okay. And I want to say something about my phone. And she was still crying. And she held up her phone and she said in front of the class, my life depends on this phone. And people were somewhat curious as to what she meant. And she said, I talk to my fiance every day in Baghdad, and that call confirms that he's still alive. And the class was immediately silent and expressed enormous pathos to this young woman, identifying with her. When, on the other side of the room, someone raised his hand rather abruptly, at the same time that people were expressing all of this concern to the young woman, and I recognized him, and he said, I hate cell phones. I would never have a cell phone. And he answered in a very, very aggressive manner that seemed to be rude almost, given what had just taken place with the young woman in the expression of, my God, the mobile telephone technology that we have is bringing people together in extraordinary times of need and things like this. But this student continued to say, I would never have a telephone. And the class turned at this point on this student almost in a hostile way, implying in some of their actions that they would say, how dare you say something like this only a matter of seconds after we've just had this witness about the extraordinary importance of this new technology. And the student paused for a moment, and he looked at the class, and he said, I've just returned from serving 2 years on an American destroyer in the Persian Gulf, and my job was to target cell telephones. I will never have a cell telephone. Now, what do you do with that? I would say, I mean, we ended up talking about this, of course, but I've taken this away as an extraordinary example of the extremes, of the range, of the spectrum of what we find ourselves engaged in as humans living today in the world dealing with these new technologies. They can be life-giving and they can be life-taking, if you want to think of it in that way. And I am pleased, I think, that it's exactly such discussions like this can emerge in the courses that we find ourselves continuing to develop in LCC.